It's being recorded.
Okay.
I'm gonna laminate this so I have it in my day timer.
All right.
And I just take it from month to month. So our first order of business is the agenda.
So
And-
we have minutes from
Oh,
February
I
6th.
thought we had minutes later on, but okay, you're gonna have to help me because I can't see the print.
Sorry.
Minutes. Mary?
Yep, so in your packet are the minutes from February 6th. There's been one correction requested. Lee Hamilton was present remotely. Any other comments?
Have no comments.
None from here.
No,
So the chair can ask for a motion to approve.
The chair asks for a motion to approve.
so move.
Excellent. And do I hear a second?
Masha seconded
Marcia said yes. Excellent.
Yes,
And do we have to vote again?
by roll call
And
vote.
by roll call vote? Drew,
Yes.
Lee,
approve,
Marcia,
approve,
Myra, excuse me.
approve.
Thank you.
And you're still a member, right? So you say you approve, no?
You move, okay, all right, so she approves as well. All right. Now I have a request through the chair. That you take a roll call vote to add to the agenda, membership. And, two agenda items, membership and the conflict of interest, law training.
And then do I have a motion for that?
Yep, by roll call vote.
Okay, another motion, please, to follow that action.
Move we add those two items to the agenda.
I second the motion.
We have a second, we're on.
So by roll call vote.
Once again, go ahead.
By roll call vote, it passes.
Right, so I'll call Drew,
Approve.
Lee,
Approve,
Myra,
approve,
Masha,
approve.
and Lorraine.
Approve.
Okay. All right, so we got today a letter of resignation from Brad Goodwin. So I don't know if anybody attended any meeting with him recently. He let us know that his ability to be on a town committee was being challenged. He's a property owner in Yarmouth, but lives in his partner's property in Barnstable. So different town councils have interpreted that situation differently.
Ouch.
Our
Mhm.
current town council has said that he's not able to
You mean-
serve.
Board of Selectmen.
No, town council.
Wow.
Wow.
So
He's
does
our
that
lawyer.
pertain to the planning committee as well? Is he a member of the
Yes.
planning committee?
Yes, and unfortunately, it was a split vote on the planning board. And I don't know which way the vote went,
Mm.
but one of the attorneys said, "Whoop, I'm gonna challenge this."
Oh.
So, anyways, that means we have a vacancy here. And DJ Sullivan is resigning. Yeah. I haven't gotten his official resignation letter because he has an
Hmm.
architect buddy that he met through Habitat that he wants to join.
Ah.
John, I think it's Barr,
Mhm.
BARR. So we're waiting for John to put it in his talent bank form for us to
Okay.
ask who the pool of candidates are.
Mhm.
So there's a person, probably one of the.
Mhm.
others.
But I don't want to ask across the hall for who's applied for the housing committee until John has had the opportunity to do that. So that's what's going on, and then we'll have another vacancy. Oh, right, but we don't fill Brad's vacant seat because he's the representative from the planning board.
Yeah.
They will.
So they will appoint somebody.
Right, so the Board of Selectmen will have to find somebody appropriate for the planning board, and then they will send
Hmm.
us another member. So what I told the town planner was, we're doing good for quorum. no need to rush it. If the planning board wants to send somebody, they can, but they can wait until the new person gets appointed.
Mm,
Because sometimes the new person has a little bit more time because they're all,
The five of us here today are the only active people at the moment, or is DJ?
DJ is
Oh,
technically still, yeah,
He may or may not participate.
right now he's in Florida.
So you said he was resigning as of when? Then-
As soon as John gets his
I don't know who
application.
John is, I'm confused.
John Barr is a friend of, so, and this happens sometimes when people resign, they kind of try to recruit somebody
Sure.
to replace them.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we got Masha. Right, Masha, aren't you the one that had the Habitat connection?
Yes.
So Richard
Yes.
Carroll didn't want to leave me in the lurch, right, with no, so he put out this email to all his housing buddies and said, who, who would be willing to, and the Habitat office kind of put the email out, and then Masha was like, oh, I'd love to do that. So again, DJ has put out the call to all his friends, and he volunteers for Habitat. And John Barr is interested. He just emailed me this morning going, I forgot to send it in. So that way we'll have a
shows his
pool.
Enthusiasm, and he emailed you and said that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not. That's why I would do it.
I was happy that he, at least remembered that he didn't
Right,
do it.
yeah.
So,
Yourself in his shoes.
anyway, so that's what's going on with membership. The other thing is this, Brad sat on the planning board, this committee through the planning board, and also the Affordable Housing Trust.
He's a real veteran.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, he's been doing this for 30 years.
and he had a great
Decades.
view of the three.
Suddenly, like, poof.
He's gone.
And, the reason why he took those housing seats was that nobody else on the planning board really had the time or the inclination to do that. So, Lee Hamilton is our representative to the Community Preservation Committee. I'm just putting it out there that if there's somebody that's interested in sitting on the Affordable Housing Trust, there's going to be a seat open. So, think about it. I think that we should put in a name recommending it. The trust meets once a month, usually the third Tuesday of the month at like 4. We don't meet on Tuesdays that the Board of Selectmen meet because we have a select board member on the trust. And this certain select board member does not want to have 2 meetings like that. So the trust, some meetings, just updates the whole time by me. Some of them are reviewing requests for funding. Some of them are votes of millions of dollars for affordable housing. So it's definitely like this housing committee that we sit on here, we're advisory, we're policy. The trust is moolah. So you need to be comfortable with making those types of decisions. Right now, the members are Debbie Clark. She sits on the Community Preservation Committee. You know her, Lee. And she kind of unofficially represents the CPC. You have Mark Forrest, who's on the Board of Selectmen. So he's the selectmen's representative to the trust. You have the town administrator, Bob Rittenauer. And the former town administrator, Bob Lawton. So it's kind of like a powerhouse committee. You have somebody from the select board on it. Somebody from, you have the town administrator, who is also the chief procurement officer. So when we, it's like we can move really quick because I can get my procurement questions answered right then and there. I can get my policy questions because I have a select board member there. And I can get the support that, as a staff member, because my boss is there. So.
Mary, I think I'd be interested in that. Or Lorraine?
Don't go away.
No,
No, as a,
Addition.
it would be a representative from the Community Housing Committee.
I think it would be wonderful.
because I worked for the Orleans, after I retired, I worked for the Orleans Affordable Housing Trust for about 3 years as their assistant. And
Oh, nice.
so I, although it's way complicated, but, you know, I know a little bit about it and, you know, I think that'd be really interesting. So
Sounds like
I'll give it a
good
shot
idea.
unless you know,
Yeah.
someone
Sounds
else
really
wants
like
it
a good
desperately.
idea.
Yeah, I'm feeling happy about this.
So, I'll make sure you have the link to the next, meeting, Myra.
Okay.
So you can attend the next meeting and, you know, see what it's like. Meet some of the people that are on it. I know you already know Bob Rittenhour.
Uh-huh. Actually,
and
yeah.
Yeah, and, you know,
Yeah,
we'll go from there.
super.
So do we appoint this person and approve it in this committee or no?
It's the Board of Selectmen's, who does that.
Okay.
It's, Dorcas McGurran is the
That's right.
appointments chair.
I interviewed me
Yeah.
on this, probably Myra too, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too.
And, yeah, of course, Marcia.
Mark
And I just
Forrester,
had, one thing is that I don't know if my experience with the Orleans Affordable Housing Trust ever made it. What am I saying? I don't remember if it was on the talent bank form, or not.
You could go in and amend it.
Yeah, I just figured it was probably some kind of
I'll
credential.
check before I give them, I wasn't even gonna give them the talent bank form. I was just.
Okay,
gonna
don't
have-
then. No,
uh,
that's fine,
yeah.
because I mean, yeah, I don't think you need to.
And then if you're, you know, this will take a little bit, then you can come back
Right.
to us and say, yeah, I kind of liked it. And then this committee can decide if they want to send a letter of recommendation or not.
I had no idea
Okay,
when.
when's
I
their-
went,
If you can just send me their agenda for their next meeting, then I'll just
Yeah,
go to
I
it.
can send you the last agenda and the next date. I haven't set the agenda yet. We haven't set the agenda yet.
You attend those meetings?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, sure.
And just to put it on the calendar for everybody, the next meeting is March 21st at 4 p.m.
And that's the Affordable Housing
That's
Trust.
the Affordable Housing Trust and, yeah, it's pretty interesting. If I don't have enough of an agenda,
Mhm.
you guys are kind enough to just kind of sit and talk and, okay, we had a meeting. What the heck are you doing, Mary? There's nothing here to listen to. Yeah, people of action.
Do you facilitate? Do you
Just like I do here.
I'm sorry?
Bob Rittenhour is the chair,
Okay.
but, you know, he's very busy, so if the agenda starts to go dry, I get in there. They pay my salary.
How long does each meeting last?
They want it, they're so funny, they're like, okay, you have 60 minutes of our time,
Right, that's what I was thinking, yeah. And does
Yeah.
it work out that way?
sometimes. Sometimes. Like there was one month we didn't meet. And so the next meeting was a 2-hour meeting.
I see.
Oh,
You know, so that's the thing, Myra, you have to be like a little patient, like if there's not consensus and there has to be a vote on money.
Yeah.
You can't really keep blowing it off. There's a quick
No.
way to make that decision.
That's the whole idea behind Affordable Housing Trust is so they can move quickly.
Yep. So, all right, good.
okay, good deal.
Question, we don't have anybody from this committee on the home consortium like we used to, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, you're in the home
Yep.
consortium?
Yeah.
Because it got some really big money, you know that. Okay.
And how have those meetings been going?
excellent. They are run well and we get done within 2 hours. I know what I need to know at the end of it. It's excellent.
And the other thing we just added to the agenda was your conflict of interest training. So,
I completed
Yep.
that.
yeah, there were
Okay,
2
that's-
modules you have to
Yay.
complete. One is the training. The other one is just saying that you received the
They call it the
information,
acknowledgement.
the acknowledgement.
I
And
did
I-
it, I just completed.
And you
Yeah.
sent us that link,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I haven't done it yet.
Yep, and they do it, they usually, you get a reminder in the beginning of every year, the town clerks do it statewide. And it's, they like you to take it every year, so. You don't have to, remember, we used to like print them out and give them to the town
Yeah.
clerk?
Yes,
Yeah.
It's all tracked
that's really
electronically
good.
now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
they're
like
doing,
that.
they're doing a good job at the state, they really are getting
It's-
all the
it's a more-
database.
It's a slicker, more professionalized version. Of the
Oh,
original
yeah.
training. A little better.
I'm not gonna tell you my grade for the quiz, but I
I don't
still
remember to get
vomit.
grade.
I'm like, heck, I've taken it 18 times. I still fall for
You're
it.
not graded on this thing. You can't fail.
You can't fail, you just have to keep pressing the button until you get it right. It's so sad. So sad.
Yeah, I just got reminded of that when I just did my, every time I go in and I have to get sworn in, they say, raise your hand. I said, no, I don't do that. I'm a Quaker. I don't
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Oh.
take oaths. I just simply say I affirm.
Right.
Joey repeats everything and they just say, I affirm, I affirm, I
They
affirm.
always have that in oaths, though, oath or affirmation, right?
Yeah.
Is that in there? In the town?
Well, it's a
You know,
law. It's a
It's
law.
not always there.
It's not
It's not always there and you often have to remind people. I don't
Oath
so
or
much here, they just,
affirmation.
huh?
Oath or affirmation.
Affirmation or
Yeah.
affirm, same thing, yeah, but I don't take an oath, I don't raise my hand and swear to God or any of that stuff. Yeah. well, And I have the right to do that.
Yes, you do.
All right,
Moving on.
we do have A Rebello.
Right.
Do you want to say hi? Are you allowed to talk?
Who's A Rebella?
I don't know who it is. Do you know?
Say,
Great. Hi.
hi, A Rebello, hi.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
We can't see you.
I don't know why. But my camera is,
We're working on it.
You check on video up in your top buttons there?
yeah, I thought the meeting was at 5. It said 5 on my schedule, but so I'm a little late. I live in Yarmouth. I was just wondering what's going on in the housing world.
I recognize your last name.
Who said that?
That's Mary. I think we've spoken before.
Mary Wagon?
Yes.
Yes, we have. I have one of the affordables
Yep.
on
Okay.
Venus.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
So through, Go ahead.
Welcome.
A little late joining. I'm sorry you can't see me, but
oh, we did all the boring stuff. We're gonna get into the good stuff now.
oh, good. Perfect timing then.
So through the chair, new business outreach and education workshop. Want me to give an update?
Mhm.
Okay, so. Myra, Lorraine and I met. I'm taking notes at the same time. Just to kind of lay some groundwork down for an outreach and education initiative from our housing program. So it's one of the action items identified in the housing production plan. We talked a little bit about the website and we talked a little bit about events. So one thing we talked about was attending the Cape Cod Young Professionals session that they're gonna have on March 28th, 2023. So it's March 6th right now.
Mhm.
So I did email them. I'll have to call them to see if we can get an info table. Just to kind of get the word out of, we all know that we need housing. We all know that we need to do more, but we thought that maybe if we had something to show kind of like what Yarmouth has done so far, that might be a nice way to start the conversation. that piece of it always tends to get left out. So,
Do we know
The
the location?
accomplishments Gets left out.
oh yeah, and Lorraine is like,
Yep.
we're not patting ourselves on the back enough, like
Yep,
we
exactly.
do things.
Yep, we aren't tooting our own horn and we
Right.
should.
And plus, it's good for other towns to hear what we've done so that they can use that as maybe an idea maker in their own
Yeah.
town.
It's more than good. It's like a key thing. like what's
Yeah.
actually Been
Mhm.
done.
So that's the
where is
28th.
that?
We're ramping it up like that.
It's Seacrest,
Sequence.
yeah. And,
Well, if you're not a young professional, then you can't go, right?
well, usually they have like vendor tables.
Yeah.
So I was, I'm trying to get a vendor table for us without having to pay like $500. So we'll see. We talked about,
Young extortion.
well, when these groups like first start, they don't charge you anything to
Yep.
have your table. So we talked about that, networking, pulling out our photos of affordable housing, our faces of affordable housing, the website. That it's a working committee, that we wanted to start to record and televise our meetings.
We did.
Work with Cape TV to see if we can make some little webinar or some short little videos to get on Channel 18 and on our website. Lorraine has this initiative in her neighborhood where she makes cookies. She goes visits people, so it's the cookie time.
And they have
Girl Scouts have that covered.
That's
Yeah.
right, but I'm going with homemade cookies and I am getting to talk politics with them. They're getting used to it.
To set, 3 to 5 goals, not like 20 million like I do.
Yeah.
And to talk about, start putting out this message to remove the stigma of affordable housing, to promote how great it is. And it's probably about time to do this. We've done this in the past, reach out to all the boards and committees in town. We talked about some, documents that have been published lately. There's Hanging in the Balance by the Association to Preserve Cape Cod, which is asking for environmental, what is it? No, it's asking for housing groups to kind of take into consideration the sensitivity of our environment. And also, the talk about maybe changing the definition of affordable housing with respect to income requirements. Because the housing crisis is creeping into
It has been for
upper
a while, yeah.
incomes, it's not just the
Wow.
people that are on social security, it's also people who are working and then also
Nurses and
people,
doctors, people
yes,
like that.
we have professional degrees and so that's kind of like the summary of that meeting. I think that what the action step is for everybody is to kind of look at your calendar. If we're gonna this meeting is being recorded, but if we're gonna televise it, we would have to change our meetings to the second Monday or the fourth Monday of the month so that we can use the hearing room.
Oh, okay.
So Old Kings Highway meets the second and fourth Monday, starting at 7:15.
Okay.
So the hearing room is open second and fourth Monday of the month. At this time, at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And we got permission from the Director of Community Development that we can meet in there and start asking for it to be staffed with somebody who knows how to televise, record, and use Zoom all at once. There's this guy David, he's the video guy, so we can have access to
The
him.
person who sees it one of those,
Yes, he's the guy that comes out that door and will fix
he's a wizard.
he's a wizard. He's great. He helped us with the HPP presentation.
Oh, yeah.
So our next meeting, so today's the 6th. So So our next meeting could be April 10th.
And it could
Three.
be televised.
Yeah, it will be televised. Yeah, if we meet April 10th at 3 PM in the hearing room,
Okay.
it'll be televised.
And there's no way other than to leave the hearing room dais that they're on.
Yeah, you're gonna be asked to sit as the planning board sits, as the select board sits. Otherwise, the cameras won't catch you.
So it has to be at 3 o'clock. There's a 3 to 5 window, so.
Yeah,
That's just- yeah.
I talked to the staff member who does Old Kings Highway.
Yeah.
And their meeting doesn't start till 7:15, but
Right.
they start to set up by 6.
Oh, whoa.
So like she starts to go in and fix everything up and because sometimes her committee members, I don't want to say this, they haven't looked at their packet.
They really do need it by 6.
Yeah,
That's the
Yeah.
bottom line. We should have a 2-hour window.
right. So if we meet from 3 to 5, then there's absolutely no
There's
overlap.
Plenty of leeway that way.
Yeah.
All right,
Is 3 o'clock too early?
sort of, but I mean, I don't have any real objection other than
Okay.
just, you know.
Anybody else have an objection to the 3 start time? Can't make it because of conflict with other meetings?
So you would want to encourage people to be there in person then, so that we could be this,
It doesn't matter because the Zoom feed is incorporated in.
Kind of cool.
And then it's put on YouTube, our YouTube channel automatically. I don't have to do
Oh,
anything else.
nice,
It's,
Nice.
Marcia, is the day your problem or the time?
Neither.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Could be.
you were,
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with the 10th at 3.
Oh.
That would be fine.
the 10th at 3, and then we'll just switch it to the second Monday of the month. At 3 o'clock. And then, Madam Chair, how did you want to deal with the working groups?
In terms of how they are broadcast or in terms of how often they meet or
Right,
structure?
like, do you want to just ask people to be part of them?
We started informally, Mary and Myra and I, and anybody who wants to join in is welcome. And we started out with education and outreach because they were the primary goals that we had submitted to the select board as what we were going to be doing in the next year.
Okay.
Uh,
What else?
The other one is housing production.
Yep.
Remember, we were talking about like the maps and looking at the maps and all of
Behind
that?
me are maps. You probably can't
Yep.
see them quite clearly from where you are. But I really like maps as a way to help us with the data of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Are we citing these proposed houses in the right place? Or are they next to, a windmill, a garbage dump, a methadone clinic? I'm citing my own neighborhood. And one other thing that we had, the dump itself. So you have to really look around through maps to see, for instance, the one that is Yarmouth Housing Authority that Drew knows a bit about, right?
A little bit.
Oh, well, he knows more than a little bit. That's being very modest. Thank you. And, it's the kind of thing where I think the maps can help us.
can we just back up a bit, because I'm getting a little confused.
Okay,
You're talking about housing production plan,
yep.
and then in old business, we have housing production plan update, so I don't know where we are with this plan. Has it already gone to the Board of Selectmen? Because I'm
No.
not aware of that.
I
It has
don't
not
think-
yet gone to the Board of
I
Selectmen.
don't think it has.
We have a draft HPP that's been
Good question.
approved by the planning board
Yeah, I remember that.
Yay, go planning
with a
board.
recommendation to bring it to the Board of Selectmen. So it got stalled a little bit so that we can add the 40 units at Yarmouth Gardens into the plan, because
Right.
they got their final certificate of
Okay,
occupancy.
this is good.
So I asked for a little bit of delay so that when I bring it to the Board of Selectmen, they don't go, Yarmouth Gardens in here, right?
What have
Like,
you
I know,
done?
it's like
Yeah.
they are just gonna be like, Mary, get it in there. So it's gonna be in there. And we're pestering the state to add it to our inventory. So, but in the meantime, the Board of Selectmen have gotten multiple comments regarding Forest Road.
Oh,
Okay, so there, as we know, during some of our meetings and during the
Yeah.
meetings before the planning board, some members of the public wanted that taken out of the HPP, right? So we got it passed the planning board. The Board of
Change the
Selectmen,
word-
Change the wording
format,
somewhere.
we-
wording,
yeah, we
So it was
we-
neutral
made
some way.
things a little
Yeah.
bit more.
good way to describe it.
Whatever. In that.
I know we're
Housing
going
First
forward, but
Plan
to me,
is
we're
a-
talking about the productive plan,
Yeah.
not flavor will be out. so.
There's a
This is
whole,
good.
there's a
Yeah.
whole section on Forest Road, they want that struck too. So, in the meantime. Our town administrator, who's just great, he's got this great sense about leadership, right? He wrote to the housing authority and said. Yeah, we've met a couple of times, hey, let's have that
Right.
community meeting, right?
Right, saw that letter, because it
Right.
was,
So there's a couple of members of the Board of Selectmen that want to wait until that meeting happens. Because if we bring the HPP to the Board of Selectmen at this point, all the people that are commenting on housing are gonna come to the Board of Selectmen, and they're just gonna have to
The same thing.
explain, what's going on, and they feel that the public really needs to know more about Forest Road before the Board of Selectmen vote on the HPP.
so
Do you know what I mean? Like,
the
they-
housing authority is gonna meet with,
They have supposedly hired a communications person
right,
to hold a public meeting
Right.
about this, citizens to go and ask questions. Now, in the meantime, Mr. John Reed passed away.
Yes, I saw that.
And he was a pivotal member of the housing authority.
Yep.
So, my job this week is to track down what's going on with respect to that. So that's what's going on with the housing production plan. But we have a draft plan. We can still go forward with the action steps in there.
We are not hurting ourselves in any way by delaying it.
I don't think so.
Okay, it doesn't have to be in HUD Happy Village on, June 1 or
No, the
for money to flow or,
big benefit, no, we don't lose any type of funding.
okay, good.
Right, the big protection that having an approved housing production plan is if you hit that production goal of 57 units,
That's,
right,
yeah,
you can get a safe harbor from aggressive chapter 40Bs for 12
Yeah.
months.
Right.
We've hit those production numbers in the past,
Mhm.
and the state always seems to be able to get out of issuing us the get out of jail card, the state, they just. Every time I apply for it, the rules have changed, and I always miss it, they're infuriated, whatever, I have to go on for hours. But, that's the big benefit, is that you can get.
but
safe harbor.
the housing authority project at Forest Road is not key for that in the short term, is it?
No, but if we
Right.
coordinated correctly. With other things we're doing, and we brought on 57 units all within a certain amount of time, and the state won't even tell me that. Then you
Okay.
can cobble things together and say you've hit your annual production goal, so we get 12 months safe harbor from chapter. The town has been very effective in squatting aggressive chapter 40Bs because we have local bylaws.
Mm.
We have local bylaws which allow developers to create this kind of density with height without having that 20% profit cap,
Oh,
right? And that costs certification at the end, which costs like $50,000. So we've been able to talk developers into the benefits of using our local bylaws. Somebody like Habitat, they still like to use chapter 40B, but it's a friendly 40B. And you'll see that when they're ready to start that permitting process, they'll come to this committee. This committee, no friendly 40B can go to the zoning board of appeals without an affirmative vote by this committee. So it gets kind of like pre-approved by everybody and then goes to the zoning board of appeals. But they like that because it's kind of appeal proof. You know, it's a strong decision. That probably was more information than you ever wanted. That's- So with respect to like a housing production working group, this would be, you know, kind of looking at areas in town, maybe some town-owned land. And kind of making recommendations to the Affordable Housing Trust, Board of Selectmen, powers that be, maybe, you know, suggest a new zoning bylaw to the.
That's really sounds interesting.
It does.
It is.
Do I sound sarcastic or something?
I'm totally
Okay.
into this.
Yeah, no, that turns me on,
Yeah, so,
especially like thinking of spots where housing could possibly go.
Absolutely.
so Drew is interested
Well,
in
and then you could
that.
get into the materials.
Yeah.
And, you know, what kind of houses would
Yeah.
be built there. And, you know, what houses can be financed and what can be insured and all those good things, looking at all of it.
So let me know, like.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
who's
exciting.
interested in the housing production? work?
I definitely am.
I
Lorraine,
can't do
Drew?
anything until I'm done with this big project at the end of July. I had no idea what I was getting into with the Community Preservation Committee and all those weekly meetings
Wow.
that we
What's the
went through.
project that's
I'm a
coming up?
consultant and I'm working with Community Action on their strategic plan.
That's
Cool.
a big deal.
And it's a big deal. It's a big,
Yeah.
big project. And I'm like,
So we have Lorraine and Myra for the education and outreach. Is there anybody else that would like to join that committee, that subgroup?
That's
Working
pretty
group?
undefined, the education and outreach, because it can be as slotted to the school system and showing kids how to build wetus or wetus, or joining in all of the community activities that the Chamber of Commerce has for us and proselytizing what we're doing through some kind of action project. I mean, there's a wide variety. None of the definitions are set in concrete.
Lorraine, could I just mention that when I saw the agenda, I read the agenda again for today, and I realized that, you know, we were going to talk a little bit about that. And I had originally started to put together a document that I was going to bring in on Friday. So I sent that to you right before the meeting, so I'm sure you haven't seen it, but I was thinking in general terms that probably the very first thing we should do before any kind of outreach and education efforts is to really as recommended in the plan, update the mission statement and try to come up with a focused I don't know, identity, I guess, for the committee that will sort of inform all subsequent activities.
Yeah.
There was also a suggestion about increasing the membership in the
Yes.
housing. And so that would be a subject that we could discuss. I was basically trying to find some things that were for us in year 1 and 2 that didn't require a lot more work for Mary. These are the things that the committee can decide. What is our mission? You know, who should
Yeah.
be on the committee? Who should represent the committee to other committees? things like that. So really kind of fundamental things. Before we go off and, educate, we should probably, have a very clear message. What we are, community housing. A lot of most, towns don't have that title. They'll, it's usually affordable housing or it's something else, not even a committee, partnership in Brewster. Some towns don't really have one at all. And so,
Yes.
What do we mean when we say community housing? It seems to be, so that's the kind of discussion I think that we should probably have
Agreed.
before anything else. So
I think
that was-
that's altogether true, and trying to figure out what the character of Yarmouth housing is
Mhm.
and how to use that to introduce what we've done here in Yarmouth for community housing. I love the term that Governor Healy put in, abundant housing. I thought, wow, that feels a whole lot better. The yoke has been lifted off my neck. I don't have to think about affordable anymore. I can think about lots of houses.
And some people use the term attainable.
Absolutely. And I do think that we should really work on that. I don't think we should put that at the top of our list. I think it should have dependent clauses all the way around it of any events that are community-based, the schools, as I said, the young professionals of Cape Cod. Who are we going to introduce this good image of Yarmouth to, and how?
So that was just a thought I had, and I sent the draft
Yeah.
to Mary and you, and hopefully on Friday we can
Makes
talk
sense.
about it a little more and bring
Yeah.
it back to the committee, the whole committee.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully.
Great ideas.
And then lastly, regarding housing production, the Affordable Housing Trust may start a pre-development fund. That would pay for soft costs for
Mhm.
people who are redeveloping gray fields. So gray fields are underutilized or blighted properties.
Yeah.
They can be residential or commercial.
Gray
What's
fields means,
gray fields, yeah,
it's a term that means a specific set of things or?
yeah, if you look it up.
Yeah.
So brownfields
Cool.
were sites that were contaminated,
Right,
Yep.
right?
right,
Green fields are lands that have trees on them,
okay.
right? So gray field is something that's already been developed, already been used. You're not cutting down a lot of trees. It could be a building that
Could
is
it
like
be
an
like
old
some of the
school.
old decrepit little
Yes.
strip malls on 20th? That would be a gray field site.
Yeah. So, they got the trust got the first round of kind of like program specs. And then last week I met with Karen Green, who's our director, and Kathy Williams, who's our planner, and confirmed that really you know me, I'm like, let's do it town-wide. They're like, no, gonna use local zoning. And the two big zoning vehicles that we have, mechanisms we have, are the motel bylaw
Yeah.
and the village center overlay
Yeah.
district. And between those, there are plenty of gray fields.
Yeah,
And if there's something that lies outside of that, the trust will decide
that's
what to
pretty
do.
interesting.
So just FYI, there might be some money behind this housing production initiative,
Where would the money come from?
the Affordable Housing Trust.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
gets,
yeah.
which has been very fortunate. It gets
That's what I forget.
capitalized.
Where would their
Yeah.
money come
They're right. So they get capitalized every year for about $200,000 from the Community Preservation Committee, which recommends that funding town meeting, and then town meeting votes on an annual basis. They also can ask for special projects. So you'll see on the warrant this year, there's $375,000 that was awarded to the trust for a buy down program, but home ownership units are too expensive.
Good grief.
So
yeah.
they're gonna ask town meeting this April. I think you're right, it's April.
Yep, April.
They're gonna be asking for that $375,000 to be used for home ownership and or rental.
Yes, rental.
So sometimes our community partners, they have more resources than the first time home buyer.
Yeah.
They can get mortgages themselves, in addition to these funds. So, we were thinking that let's try out, I know the market, that everything is so high right now, but let's see what our community partners that do rental housing can come up with.
Excuse me.
So, and like I said, the trust is really actively working. I don't know if I said that, but they're actively working with Habitat right now
Mhm.
to create 6 to 8 units of affordable homes on Route 28. So we've got some home ownership happening. Maybe we should spend some money on rental. So kind of where it is.
You should spend money on rental. I've been talking to these young professionals, like nurses especially, who have a hard time
Oh,
finding a place to
yeah.
live.
Oh, yeah, absolutely true.
You know, like people pretty high up on the food chain
Yeah.
too, like directors of
Well, they're making really good money and they can't find a
skilled
house.
nursing facilities and
Mm.
stuff like that. yeah. Come from off Cape because they've been hired into a good job.
Looks like a good idea at the time.
That's right.
Oh, I see. So I
And it's
see.
hard for them to find
I
place to
see.
rent to live here.
Yeah.
To do their executive style job in Yarmouth.
Okay. I think they did that study, the Cape Cod Commission did that study about how many people come on the Cape they commute over the bridges for these jobs. And that's why we always advertise our lotteries in the New Bedford and Fall River area. Because the housing there is less expensive, significantly less expensive. But we're always advertising our affordable housing there because there's a lot of people that commute from that area for jobs here. What is it, a 45-minute?
Yeah.
I
At
mean,
least.
you
And
could,
there are
you-
people who left Cape Cod and went to those areas because they couldn't find housing here.
right,
Just always thinking about the people that have to staff nursing homes.
Yeah.
They need. It's not easy. They are coming from all over the place,
They are.
spending all their.
Every bit
But
of
even
they
people
make.
that make considerably more money than, say, a nurse's aide, they even have trouble finding an acceptable place to live.
It's true.
Okay, so
all right, so I have down for the outreach and education, Lorraine and Myra
Yep.
and me. And the housing production is Lorraine and Drew. Me. So what we'll start doing is we'll start formally, posting those agendas. I'll send it to everybody, so you're welcome to come the last minute and you don't have to worry about having quorum, like, oh, if I come, is there quorum?
it's a working group.
It's
not
a working
committee.
group.
But,
We'll get a
We'll
room.
decide. Like,
Yep.
something.
Soon as possible. Tomorrow.
And you know what? I didn't think of typing up those minutes and putting them in this packet, but I will from now
Oh,
on.
great.
Like I'm reading it going, I guess I should have typed this up and given it to
We
you.
did a lot of good stuff.
You
in
guys
that.
did.
We had a wonderful talk. And it
Yeah.
really yielded a lot. I began to see, and it was very hard for me before that meeting, to see how the housing production plan actually could fit into all of
Yeah.
what we were talking about. I saw a housing production plan as sort of this incredibly boring piece that Mary had to do in order to talk to the government and get money. Well, that's good. That's excellent. That's the business we're in. But it became a real living document for me. And just when I started to see how it fit together. So yay, one meeting down, many to go.
So that's new business.
Yeah, new business,
Through
good.
the chair, the old business is the housing production plan update, which I gave already.
Yeah.
I think
Do you have
so.
any other questions?
Well, they're gonna be presenting the article at the town meeting, that's all I know. And we haven't had a meeting since.
Oh, you're talking about the CPC. We're not there yet.
Okay, the housing.
Yeah, we're just the housing
Oh, no,
production
sorry, I'm sorry.
That's
plan.
there on
Right.
number 4.
So, I have so many copies, I don't know which is the most recent at this point. I'm not gonna worry about it until we have a final copy.
Yep. Yep.
So the update on the housing production plan was that hopefully the housing authority will be able to meet with who exactly first?
They want to do
Yeah,
it-
we've asked, the town has officially asked for the housing authority to have a public meeting
Okay,
to answer people's questions, to give an update and answer people's questions about the possible development.
has there been any response to that request that you know of?
Not
You
that I know of.
Okay,
Should we be thinking about attending that meeting?
Yes.
As supporters of housing?
Yes.
well, I went to several housing authority meetings
Oh,
several
hell.
months ago.
Mhm.
And they're usually, they're on the second Tuesday of the month,
Ah.
actually. And that would be not tomorrow, but the
Mhm.
next. So I'm gonna try to go to that if they have it. I looked at the agenda and minutes part of the town website, and it looks like they didn't have a meeting in February. The housing authority.
So you said they were hiring somebody to do outreach to the community or to facilitate it,
Yes.
meeting?
Yes, so town staff has met with their staff and staff from Mass Housing Partnership. And the plan was they already hired an engineer to do
Right.
due diligence
Yeah.
and a very preliminary review of the site. The engineer has not seen any obstacle with going forward. There's gonna have to be a lot of engineering done and a lot more work.
Mhm.
But so far, so good. There hasn't seen any big obstacle. But anyway, they were getting comment from the neighbors. So the Mass Housing Partnership advised the housing authority to contract with a communications firm to hold these meetings. And that really makes sense for the Yarmouth Housing Authority.
Yep.
First, they have to explain to the public
Yeah.
that they own this property.
Yeah.
It's not the town of Yarmouth
Right.
doing this.
Right.
That'll be hard to penetrate some.
And
Yes.
we asked that they hold that meeting before they issue their request for proposals for a developer to start the process of developing the land, because you might get so much comment from the neighbors on one issue, like a fence or a vegetated buffer, that you would change your criteria for the request for proposal. That was my point. That you kind of want to know what the neighborhood is concerned about. So that
Yeah.
you can put that in your request for proposal. I mean, there are some simple things that designers just kind of don't, it's not on their radar. For example, you never want your parking so that the lights are shining into an existing home. I know it sounds funny, but I can't
Oh,
tell you how
sure.
many times
Yeah.
have come forward and go, this is gonna shine into my bedroom.
Mhm.
Like, sometimes you have architects and engineers that are just used to working in an urban setting. Right, so these things, you get used to them when you live in the city.
So
right?
this is being proactive, you know.
Yes, trying to be proactive. We had an issue with Yarmouth Gardens, the
Mhm.
pump for the wastewater treatment facility is pretty close to the people that summer right next door.
Mhm.
So they're like, we can smell it and we can hear it 24/7. So if, live and learn,
Right.
like there's other places that stupid. Site, it's already installed, we can't change it now. So it's like things like that. So,
Can they build a barricade around it or something?
oh, they There's a whole bunch of solutions they're trying.
I hope they work.
If they're gonna work.
Well, listen,
They're probably gonna-
I went to several of those housing authority meetings and the people on the housing authority were very aware of the problems that were going to arise. when we proposed this thing because this project on Forest Road, because of a previous experience in 2011,
Yeah.
where it got shot down. They were super aware of that. And the MHP person, Laura Schufelt, who's guiding them, was super aware of it too, because she lived through that in some way. And several months ago, they were talking about just what Mary is saying now, how they were going to do public outreach and stuff early on in the process. And I haven't been able to go to any of those meetings. I'm kind of surprised they haven't already done that. I don't know what's happened.
They haven't made
With that.
progress.
I don't know.
Huh.
But maybe they'll have a meeting. in a
So
couple
the
weeks
meeting
after
is,
that.
you think it's the second Tuesday at what time?
Uh,
The 14th?
That's when it would be normally scheduled according to their normal schedule. I think it's either at 5 or 5:30.
Did
It's
you
after
say,
the working day.
sorry, did you say John Reed was a member of that committee?
John Reed was a longtime member of the Housing Authority and he just passed away.
Maybe that has had an effect on
Um,
them, not.
I was
So-
surprised by how minimal his obituary was. He was very active. He was very active.
Yes, and there's stuff online. There's more and more stuff online, and I think his memorial service is sometime in April.
Yeah, I saw
It's
that.
gonna be like huge, like he
Yeah.
was known nationally.
It's gonna be at the high school. Yeah, I saw
He-
that.
he
I'm gonna
was-
be away, but I'm coming back that Sunday and I plan on going. I
he's-
didn't know him well, but I had very good interaction with him when I did meet with him a couple of times.
He was on the
Hmm.
National Democratic Party committee, whatever that is, where
The
you,
DNC,
yeah.
Democratic National Committee.
Yeah, like there's something at the state level. There's the Massachusetts Democratic Party and then there's the National Democratic Party. And I know that because he asked me to sign his nomination papers. You have to be elected to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, John. I was like, heck is this? It's like, wow. And he would go to those conventions. He would go to the presidential convention
Yeah.
and vote on. He was very humble, like he'd never, you know what I mean? I would have
But
never
he was a
known.
real doer. He was really involved in a lot of different things.
And he knew
really
how to get
was.
things done. So he's a big loss to the town and
But
the.
they're definitely gonna show up at their next meeting if they have it.
If
See
you've
what
never
they're
been to
doing.
the Zion Museum,
The what
the
museum?
Zion Museum.
Zion?
Zion Museum.
Where is that?
It's
on North Street.
North Street in Hyannis.
Yeah.
It's a white building.
It's sort of look at, there's a chapel and a church there too, but there's also a museum. And it's really pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's.
I never
he
heard
was
of
the-
it.
He was the president of the NAACP Cape Cod chapter. And when he spoke.
Well,
I
maybe
mean,
he's
I don't
been-
know if you guys know him. Any meeting I was ever at, when he would speak, everybody would be like, okay,
Yeah.
John, yep, you're right. Like, he was like
He was
amazing.
Well, I had never seen him at a housing authority meeting. Maybe he had been ill for a long time
He could have
Yeah.
been, yeah.
because he wasn't there ever. He was there. So
Um,
that leads me to think maybe he was ill for a long time.
The other thing.
I don't
I'll
know.
do
I
is
just,
I'll
that's what,
find out from, I'll find out what's going to happen. There's going to be an election of his seat.
Yeah.
that's interesting.
So.
That
you-
interests me right there.
Yeah.
You guys might wanna think
I might run.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna participate in
But
that.
that's
Yeah.
an elected position?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and the governor gets to appoint somebody. So it's
Yeah,
something,
yes,
it's
yeah,
something to think
yep.
about. It's just something to think about.
I
I don't wanna lose any of you.
Wait, I know housing authorities are quasi-state local thing.
Yeah.
Every town has one.
Yeah.
And is it the case that some members are appointed by the governor and others are
I think
elected?
4 are elected
Mhm.
and 1 is. and there is a new governor, and I'm hoping, the reason why the Baker administration, didn't do a lot of appointments like that was, quite frankly, they would only appoint from their committee, from their party.
I
their
see.
political party. So
It's an odd situation.
it is a hard situation, because we had we had a vacancy in Mashpee for years. And I never get that off, that governor's office to make an
It's a
appointment.
shame.
And then somebody came up and it was from the Republican Party, and luckily that seat got filled. And I was like, oh, you didn't tell me that. You had told me that.
Yeah, so that is, I'm glad you mentioned about the election, because I want to stay on top of that and see.
Yeah.
I mean, even
So
if I'm not the person, maybe I'll find
Yeah.
somebody.
Could you
that'd
be on
good.
both? Could you be in this committee?
I don't know.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can, because that is not a town committee or board.
That's a state thing, sort of. It's
I
why,
honestly think you can be a state representative and elected to the housing authority. It's like
Yeah.
this, it's, most places you can't be on two things at once. But this housing authority thing is kind of in between everything. I don't know, we'll find out.
it is.
I shall research that for you.
Me too.
Thank you.
All right, so through the chair, old business reports, the chair's report.
The chair's report. The chair did go off to the Home Consortium for their meeting, which was very productive. I did not bring in our successes, and so you can hold me up short, and I will learn to do it for the next time and the times to come. Mary, please remind me, because I forgot about it. And it is a forum where you can exchange what you're doing and the ideas that are really compelling to you, and it's quite good that way. I was involved with CHAPA with the legislative goals of the current administration. And I like them so much that they are included in your package. It's something for us to think about. It's not like I want to frame it or anything like that. But what I want to do is I want to be thinking about how we fit into the larger piece of housing in particular. So please do take a look at it, and let's use it in our discussions as well. Why I like CHAPA, let me go back to it, of course, is because I love to be in contact with the legislators, and it's an easy door to walk through CHAPA to the Beacon Hill. And I have now met with all of the members of the housing committees. And some of them are real live wires, and some of them are not. So as I get to know them, I'll bring back, maybe we should be sending postcards to this live wire in thank you, and maybe we should be sending a raspberry to the people who are putting our projects down. But that's where the money is and the power is for us to work back here more easily.
Yeah, and I forget, did I send everybody the link to the CHAPA website where you can sign up for their monthly meetings? They're having a
Yeah.
training. I'll have to send
didn't
it, I'll
see
send
it,
it
but
out
maybe I
again.
missed
So
it.
CHAPA does trainings.
Yep,
They
and they
have
are good.
affordable housing
Yep.
101.
Yep, very good.
I think they're a little bit too urban-y for us.
Urban-y?
Yeah, could be.
Urban-y, like I'm kind of like, guys, we don't have sewer yet. Stop it, stop it. You know, I keep reminding them that we don't have the infrastructure.
They are a
Like-
little horrified by things like that. That's true.
Yeah, they're like, you guys have plenty of land.
You
Oh,
know, the sewer thing is huge.
it is
It's
huge.
silly now.
It
Yeah.
is really huge.
So, and I don't know, do you guys want me to invite, your new rep? Christopher
young guy.
Flanagan
Yep,
in as a guest speaker?
why not?
He- He'd like stay for a half an hour, he'd
Yeah.
probably zoom in.
20 minutes until he's got.
Like the freshman rep?
I'm a member of the Yarmouth Democratic Town Committee. I've missed the last 3 meetings.
Ah.
And I hate
Goodbye.
that. And he was presenting at one of them, and
So, I'm a member of the Massachusetts Commission on the Status of Women, the Cape Cod and Islands subcommittee or subcommission. So we had him in and he was pretty good. And I think he's an attorney.
Yes.
He works
he is.
for the Cape Cod and Islands Home Builder and Remodelers Association.
Hmm.
So he gets like the whole housing thing. And he used to be an aide to, I don't know, Delahunt, some senator. So I was surprised to see how many bills he introduced as a freshman rep.
He knew what to do and he
I
did
was
it. Yep.
shocked.
Yeah.
Because some of them will only, like, their first year will only co-sponsor something. Like, he's introduced like
He
more
jumped
than,
right on.
I was like, whoa, so I can see if he'll come in and talk to, and I'll see if he's looked at these things from CHAPA to see how he feels about them.
They
And
don't
take
go
a-
anywhere.
Yeah, well, take a look at it, what CHAPA has to offer because it's quite good.
I did look at the list of legislative proposals. They're
Yeah,
pretty interesting.
yeah.
Affordable housing,
Yeah.
changing bylaws and zoning law.
Zoning bylaws, yes.
Lorraine, can I go back to,
Yes. I'm making it go away. There we go.
your report from the Home Consortium?
Yes,
They got lots, big money.
big bucks, yes.
1 something, is it million, a billion? I can't remember. That they have to spend up, they have up until the Boswell County Department of Human Services oversees the Home Consortium, and they don't provide so much direct services, although they have the SHORE program and different things like that, the SHINE program rather. So they're gonna be outsourcing this, and they're having a series of workshops and meetings to help design how they implement this. And I had on my Outlook calendar this housing workshop, which I didn't recognize. So I didn't go to it until I realized afterwards it was this project. So it's a lot of money.
Yes, it
That's gonna
is.
be, they're gonna figure out what to do with it, you know.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
and it's the home APR is not, you know, the ARP is not the same as being.
It's ARPA money, right?
Huh?
It's
ARPA.
ARPA money?
Well,
ARPA
That's what
money?
it comes out as. It said ARPA money, but it's,
Oh, okay.
But it's not.
it means something different
It
than what
means
you're
something
thinking.
different than APR.
Okay, you're
yeah.
probably thinking of ARPANET and stuff like that.
But it's a-
American Recovery Plan Act or something.
No, it's
That
separate.
is,
separate
that's
from that.
fine, yeah. I'm thinking 20 years before that, sorry.
Yeah, well, anyway, if you don't have that information, I can forward it to you.
That's great. I think that their action plan that they're taking comments on now prioritizes affordable rental housing.
Yes, it does.
And because it's home money, it can only be used for households at 80% of area median income or below,
That's the regular home consortium funds.
right? And there's a priority for activities that address homelessness.
Yes,
Right.
So we start to get kind of filtered out. The kind of housing that we do does not have that homelessness prevention
mhm,
piece to it. I think there, and the state has done that too with their ARPA money. Their ARPA home money is affordable rental housing that addresses homelessness, and it really filters out a lot of affordable housing.
Preventing homelessness and all
Yeah.
that, that's gonna be the direction that happens. It's
So-
still very interesting, and there's a lot of money there.
There's a
there's
lot of
ton
money.
there.
We have sent our local developers of affordable rental housing to these programs before, and they're consistently,
Yeah,
they
they
won't,
don't fit.
they don't get the funding and they've stopped applying.
Yeah,
So, but anywho, and the reason why home doesn't really match with home ownership as well
mhm,
is because there is a Fannie Mae universal deed rider that everybody uses that doesn't comply with the federal home program.
mhm.
Because there's this caveat that if there is no affordable buyer for one of these units, you can sell it to somebody who is not income eligible, but with the deed rider on. So that the next time it comes up for sale, it has to go back to an affordable buyer. But home money has to be, it has to be always and indefinitely used to benefit a low moderate income person. So, it threw out the affordable home program of Massachusetts from the home consortium money. So that's why they only do rental. So. We used to do that. We used to use home money for the buy down program.
Yep.
I just want, ARPA is the American Rescue Plan Act.
It is.
It came out of COVID. And it has trillions, more than $1 trillion in it. It's the same act that provided for the checks that we got.
Oh, it is. Okay.
And evidently it's got an endless, it's
I
trillions
can't
of
remember
dollars.
money that they got
Yeah.
locally.
It was quite a
It's-
sum.
It's a lot.
They've done a nice job in communicating it with their
Yes, they did.
press
I think
release and.
Dick Gray has been coordinating
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and that's.
I
why-
did apply for some of that money and I didn't get it.
Well, this is a whole new ballgame. This is a whole new pool of money.
Yep, but
This
there
is
was another bit of ARPA money and we put it in
Yeah,
and because
yeah.
we weren't
Oh, yeah.
we weren't a regional program. We didn't get it. They write these things and maybe
It's
I'm
kind of a
guilty of it
technicality,
too,
yeah.
but sometimes things are written in such a way that it just filters out.
Filtered it
yeah.
out because this was a town and not a,
We didn't get enough minimum points, right, because we were a town and not a
No.
region.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
that is a technicality.
that was a
For
bummer.
sure.
I was like, ah. But, all right, so I'll invite Chris in.
Yes,
Chris Flanagan, young man on the move.
yes.
Like, be on the move. I'll let him know. That's the theme of his speech.
We went to an event and he was there and
Oh.
shook my hand. Just because he's a politician.
He
And all I
must
could
be-
think was how young he seemed.
I know.
And then I realized I'm thinking that because I'm a certain age, not because he's so young.
Governor Healy is appointing, I can't remember what it's called, but she's
Yeah.
putting together a housing committee and.
Yes.
The director of Packers.
Yes, first time.
In that.
So right
Long
now,
overdue.
that department is the Department of Department of Housing and Community Development. So they're gonna
I like that
split that work.
priority.
Right, they're gonna split that work from, that secretary is,
You mean DHCD?
Right. they're
Okay.
gonna split the work by that secretary. They're gonna split it into two cabinet positions. One's gonna be housing and one's gonna be community and economic development. Because it was
Yeah.
too much work for one cabinet member. So there's gonna be a cabinet member just dedicated to housing.
Can't wait to find out who that is. Oof,
So when will be?
I think they have somebody,
do they?
yeah.
Is it community and economic development? Be the same?
It's the department was community housing. And no, it's Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD. And you had this undersecretary who's technically under the Office of Environmental Affairs, right?
Yeah.
Because DHCD used to be the Office of Economic Affairs or something like that. So, but that cabinet post is gonna be
Be
split
split,
into two, one housing, one economic development or community development. So it's gonna be split. So they'll have a full-time cabinet person for housing, which is exciting. Because it's too much.
It is too much. You
So-
know well.
But there is somebody who's the acting,
Mhm.
because that cabinet position has to be, state statute has to create that cabinet position. But the Healy administration is not waiting for that. They've already hired this person.
Good.
Where are we now on our list of old business?
the Home Consortium, which we already had an update.
Yep.
So planning board, we lost our planning board rep.
Mhm.
The ADU bylaw,
Oh,
okay, is being postponed till October.
That's.
They
I can
are,
See why, yeah.
they're
Someone
going to
just needs-
use this time to build consensus. They're not going to allow any unit that was developed through a chapter 40B, whether it's the affordable unit or not, they're not gonna allow ADUs in those. And units that were affordable accessory apartments in the past will remain affordable. I don't know why they're doing that, but new units would have no affordability requirement.
That's good. I
So,
think.
no,
affordability-
anyway.
No affordability requirement for ADUs.
Right. So they're gonna, and they're still, they don't have consensus about what size lot these should be allowed on.
yes. Yeah.
Because some neighborhoods are saying the lots are too small. Some places, some people are saying if you have a lot of 40,000 square feet or more, it should be by right. Well, that news hasn't hit Yarmouthport yet.
Mhm.
So, you know, like nobody is, this is not hit Yarmouthport yet. So they feel like there should be more outreach, stuff like that. What I told the town planner was that I was gonna submit a zoning bylaw amendment that just took out what I think we should take out. So we'll see what happens.
What do you mean, Mary?
So,
Yeah.
so there's a barrier to using this ADU bylaw
Right,
to create non-family related
right.
units.
That's definitely has to go, right? Like,
Right, so there's right now, there's an income limit, a deed restriction. You have to use a lottery wait list to pick your tenant. And you have to limit the rent. So I'd like to still limit the rent, but still have an income requirement.
Hmm.
But no deed restriction, and you can pick whoever you choose.
So you think it's important to still have limited rent, huh?
I think that
You think-
town meeting was very resistant to to accept accessory dwelling units. So for
Right.
years, you had the family related, right? And then in 2004, town meeting was convinced to expand that to allow non-family related for affordable units. And that squeaked by, and that was a lot of work to get that. So I'm afraid that when they bring this to town meeting,
Okay,
Mhm.
it's still gonna not have consensus, because you need 2/3 vote.
So they're not wanting to bring it to this town meeting, is that what you're saying?
Right now, they don't have enough consensus, I think even on the planning board.
Within
That's
the.
correct.
You know, I'm not, but I haven't gone to one of those.
I have, yeah. I
So
don't.
they,
It's a rather fraught atmosphere.
so I told them that I'm gonna put in just what I think should happen and see what happens with that, because I think I can get that passed. Those
You
two
mean to the
things.
planning committee meeting, not to the town?
Town meeting, I think will take out that piece that you have to pick the tenant from a lotteried list.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
And that
you're
you-
proposing you want to present this to the town from the housing committee or?
I don't know, if you guys are with me or
Because
not.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time. I get what you're saying, but I can't follow in detail what your proposal would include.
It would strike out the requirement that these affordable accessory apartments would have to be deed restricted. Because some people that I work with, that, you know, they come in and they want to make one, they're like a deed restriction. Oh, I'm not putting a deed restriction on my
Okay.
property. They leave.
I'm with you on that.
The other one is that they go, well, my son's friend is looking for an apartment. I want to rent to them. Well, no, you can't. You don't get to choose your tenant. I send you tenants from the wait list that I have. These are
Right.
people they don't know that's gonna live in their house on their property.
Mhm.
So a lot of people go, forget that. I wanna pick who I want. But it would still be for people that make under a certain amount. and still
Okay,
at
so
an
you
affordable rent.
wanna, you think it's a good idea to restrict affordable apartments to be rented only to people under certain income levels?
Yeah.
Well,
So I'm not getting Drew's support on
Well,
that.
the thing that after the talking and things I've heard people say in the last couple of months, I thought, well, nobody will be able to afford to build an accessory dwelling unit
This is
under those
scary.
conditions,
Yes.
because it won't bring them enough income. That's what got into my head. Does
Yeah,
that
I-
make any sense at all to you? Maybe
It does.
I could be totally wrong, but that's the impression that I started forming. after
Who
going-
cares? No mercy.
So Mary, would you back up and explain how you?
So nice.
Our guest raised, our guest has
Huh?
a question. Our guest has a question.
Oh, you,
Ms.
so
Rebecca?
to the chair.
Yes,
Great. That'd be great. In the morning. Thank you.
Hi, Ms. Rebello.
Okay.
You're being recognized to speak.
Hi, sorry. Are you, did you see my little hand raise?
We
I did,
yeah.
and that's
Can you
why
hear
I
me?
brought it to their
Oh,
attention.
thank you. I didn't know where or when, because this is my first join in. Didn't know where or when I could ask a question or two. I guess now is good.
We're almost, hold on, one more thing.
Okay,
So that's my plan for the
Okay.
ADUs. I'll keep you posted.
All right.
okay.
Community preservation program. Lee, do you want to give us a quick update?
No.
Okay.
We
Anyway,
have an update. this
I'm gonna
time.
I'm going to have
Well
the
right,
draft warrant, the warrant to you soon.
Yeah,
And in there, you'll be able to read the
Okay,
community preservation article.
Okay,
Okay, so now I think the chair can, it's a good time to recognize Ms. Rebello.
Ms. Rebello.
hi, thank you.
Hi.
I'm thinking I should just become more involved since I live in Yarmouth, and so I thought I'd jump in on a meeting and see where we're at. Forgive me, because as I said, this is my first join in here. What is the proposed project on Forest Road?
So back in the day, oh gosh, maybe in the late 80s,
Yep,
town meeting gifted to the housing authority 18 acres of land on the corner of Forest Road and Old Townhouse. And, you know, it doesn't completely fill that corner because the senior center is there and there's some houses, but it basically surrounds the senior center.
Right.
And the intention was for senior housing. So back in the day, the housing authority, with help from the state, put in an application to US HUD for the 202 program. And it didn't get funded, and then the 202 program, the money dried up and was gone. So there's been a couple of attempts to develop it by the housing authority. The housing authority had some procurement issues back in the day, and there was a change in staff, and the town did a feasibility study with the housing authority with the new executive director, Donna Colleen. And there were two parts. There was the Brush Hill Road development and the Forest Road development. So Donna Colleen got the Brush Hill Road development completed and retired before Forest Road got developed. Had a couple of different staff and board changes over there. And now we have Wendy Olson, who's the executive director.
right,
And Mass Housing Partnership has again swung back through and said, okay, this 18 acres, we gotta do something with it. So it's designated for affordable housing. There's an affordable housing deed restriction on it. There's been some non-binding town meeting vote on it against the development. But the housing authority, like I say to all the neighbors, the housing authority is in an extremely strong position. They own it. They have power of eminent domain. So it's not like the town can use eminent domain to take it back because the housing authority has eminent domain. And they're quasi-state, so I think their eminent domain tops are eminent domain. It's not something that I'm trying to get people not to go that route. But anyways, they've done a due diligence report, study with an engineer, and they figured back of the envelope, 90 bedrooms, 45 units. All, you know, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom. The 3 bedrooms would be in townhouse buildings. And
Is
the
this
ones-
rental or ownership?
Yes,
Rental.
all rental.
Rental.
Housing authorities typically only do rental,
Affordable or low income?
all affordable.
So no subsidized units in there.
They would, well, you know, what they're gonna do is issue a request for proposal. And the developers are gonna come up with a lot of those specs themselves.
Mhm.
But you have some experience in affordable housing, right?
Yep.
If I'm
Yes, I do.
right, so I'm gonna use some terms. It's probably gonna get picked up by a developer who's savvy in those low income housing tax credits.
Right.
So you're gonna see 10% of the units go to extremely low income, so those are people who are retired or disabled and on social security.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna see a very healthy number of 2 bedrooms. 10% 3 bedroom, and hopefully more than 10% of the 1 bedrooms. And it will be promoted as family housing. So one of my comments to the Housing Authority and to Mass Housing Partnership has been, can you give us a higher percentage of 1 bedrooms? Because that will quell the concern that the land was given for senior housing. And so while the
Good
state
point.
doesn't really like to do age restricted developments anymore. In fact, they won't do anything. The only ones they will do is 55 and over. It's not even like senior housing anymore. It's older adult housing.
Mhm.
But you know, if we have a good number of 1 bedrooms there, you're gonna see older adults going in. If you have mostly 2 bedroom, you're talking family housing, which is fine. But, you know, the spirit of the gift was for senior housing, and it made sense because it was right next to the senior center. So, I'm hoping for this community meeting to happen so that I can say that publicly.
Yeah.
That we really need these, a lot of 1 bedroom units. I'd love to have some studios and a nice pathway and connection to the senior center.
Well,
Great
out of the-
plan.
Did you don't want to comment about that, Ms.
Yeah.
Rebello?
It's Ann.
Ann.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Yeah, as Mary, as you know, and Lee knows, I work in the housing industry, and I live in Yarmouth. What?
I thought I recognized your name.
And I live in Yarmouth, and I am the proud owner of an affordable. And so, you know, being in the industry, I see it every day, the need, and there are a lot of people around my age with any housing that's even remotely affordable for anybody on a fixed income is a huge blessing. So I'm really happy to hear about that plan. And I do hope they increase the 1 bedrooms, my personal opinion. Anybody with more than 1 or 2 kids has a bit of a problem, because then you need 3 and 4 bedrooms, and I don't think there's anything like that going up anywhere that I know of. Do you?
So Yarmouth Gardens and Yarmouth Commons had to have 10% 3 bedrooms. And so there is
So there's a
still
few.
a local need for 3 bedrooms
Good.
and 1 bedrooms. The 2 bedrooms is a little bit less. So when we do local preference at these developments, we're usually able to fill the 1 bedrooms and the 3 bedrooms with somebody who qualifies for local preference, but not the 2 bedrooms. There's just too many coming online. So yes, and you're correct. We need these 1 bedrooms badly.
Yeah, we do. And can I get a transcript of this meeting or is it viewable? There's been a lot of ground covered.
So I think what happened, so I'm recording it to the cloud.
Okay. Good enough
So-
for me.
God only knows where it's going, okay? So, I probably should have said that. I gotta remember, so I'm gonna.
Recorded.
Very. So Ann, what I want to do is I wanted, get it on our YouTube channel.
Perfect. I just wanted to revisit a couple of things, because there's a few things I think I want to get involved in. And
And then
Okay.
we're gonna start meeting in the hearing room. And our next meeting is April 10th,
yeah, I wrote that down. Okay.
right? At 3 o'clock, and then the person who does the recording just puts it up on YouTube automatically. So I'm gonna work with the IT department to get this meeting up on our YouTube channel. Provided I, can retrieve it from the cloud. So it's supposed to be, we lost the one millennial that we were working for our department, and I used to just run and get him and he'd do it for me. So we're gonna figure this out. That's my intention.
Mary, you are a dynamo. I have every faith in the world that you will get it done.
Thank you.
That's it. Now
I
you're
don't know how
obligated.
you do it all, but I'm grateful. So that's all. I was just curious about that. Very
So have you
interesting.
put in a talent bank form and yourself to
Have I
join one
put
of
in
our
a
committees?
what?
A talent bank form?
To join the committee,
I have not.
Do you know what it is?
it might be a good idea.
I'm wondering, I'm thinking, I guess it would depend on time, commitment time. But
What the
I-
chair has started to do is to, when a committee is full,
Yep,
to appoint associate members. If you became an associate member, see, I could add you to the official email list. You know what I mean? There's some benefits to that. So,
okay.
I don't know if you wanna, I don't wanna call out your email to, you have my email, Ann?
Yeah, somewhere, I think I still do.
Yeah.
I'm sure I
So
do.
Tim-
somewhere.
It's M Wagan, MWAYGAN. I can put mine in the chat. You know how to scoop things out of the chat?
It's W-E-Y or W-A-Y?
WAYGAN at Yarmouth.
.ma.us.
So it's in the chat. And yeah, just email me and I'll send you the link to the talent bank form.
Oh, it's not M-Wagon, it's just Wagon.
Nope, it's M Wagan, MWAYGAN at yarmouth.ma.us.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. We'll chat.
A rebello.
We'll look for you at the next meeting.
now, Ian?
What, Lee?
Are you retired now?
Lee, I think I'm gonna have to work until lunch break on the day of my funeral.
Yeah.
Nice lunch.
Oh, man.
Trying to do more, more from home, that kind of thing, but
Yeah,
we can afford to retire,
yeah, I know.
you know?
That's my family keeps asking me that and I'm like,
Yeah,
but right
And-
now I'm in the middle of this big thing, which is making me crazy. I wish I didn't do it, but
it's good to stay busy and to keep learning and to stay active, so there's all
Yeah.
that. Right?
true.
Mary, I'll give you a shout via email and we'll talk about that.
That's great.
Yeah. But thank you all for sharing.
glad you
and allowing me to
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank you
joining
very
us.
much. Come on
Thanks for
by.
joining us.
You
Okay,
can see us, right?
I can. I'm sorry you can't see me. I don't, I have a
Hi.
camera. I
So
don't,
we'll wait.
I'm waving back.
Okay.
So through the chair, let's see, oh, so I've added on the agendas and I should always have it on there, agenda items for next meeting.
Okay,
So if you don't have anything right now, you can always email them to me and I can send them along to the chair for her approval. Does anybody have anything right now? Okay. And then our upcoming meetings, April 10th at 3 o'clock. And then town meeting is April 25th at 6 p.m.
Just want to ask you something. Are you seriously thinking of putting something forward at the town meeting about,
For October, yes,
For
I'm
October.
so sick of everybody
right?
not
But you're
agreeing
quite
on
serious
anything
about
that
that,
I'm
yeah.
kind of like, well, we all agree
That's really
that the
interesting.
affordable housing piece is not working,
yes,
right? So I'm gonna push for them to have a small little article
This is
to,
logical.
to
I
get
the
rid of the
logic
stuff that I know is not working.
I think
And
So you're not talking about April, you're talking about October.
October.
October. So there's
Yeah.
time to work on it.
I'm glad I'm asking you this because I think it's a really logical idea.
Right,
of
because the
yours.
minute you start talking about
Right.
the lot sizes, there's no consensus.
Absolutely.
Just endless
So
back and
I'm,
forth.
so what, so in Mashpee, we have a new town planner and see, we used to have a town planner that would put everything under one article. And Myra worked with him, Tom Bell, and he was just like magic, like he would just, like town meeting would just do what he said. I mean, he was incredible. So we have a new town planner who splits everything up. Because he's like, he says, you know, each one is making a little bit more progress. So I'm learning. Sometimes it's when you don't have consensus, you just, you take it step by
But
step.
no, I get your point.
So I'm-
Yeah,
The
that's a
painful
really good
thing,
idea.
Let's work on it.
Yeah,
Let's really work on it.
in fact, it was so
Agenda item.
logical. I didn't even-
Anne has her hand up again, Mary.
sorry,
Yeah.
the
So through the
painful,
chair,
good
Oops,
for you,
sorry.
Mary.
There it says.
recognize Anne Rebello, please.
Hi, Ann Rebello. I'm recognizing you.
You can see my face, you might be able to. I'm glad to hear, Mary, that you're going to do that because
Hand up there. That's so cool.
it's a painfully slow process. And we are losing our workforce from Cape Cod
Yes.
faster than we are saving them because nobody has any place to go. Like the gentleman
Agreed.
said, and forgive me, is it your name Drew, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, you know, it doesn't, nurses, teachers, my daughter's a teacher, people, we're losing our workforce, our necessary workforce, everything from grocery store clerks to nurses, to bus drivers, to teachers, we're losing them faster than we can move forward in these meetings.
I really
and
like
so-
the strength with which you're saying this. Because it's
Yeah,
something I agree with.
It's tragic, so, and I know that things take time and everybody has a right to their opinion and things have to go through specific processes. So I'm with you, Mary, let's get rid of the stuff that's dragging us down, and get things moving, more aggressively because, the Cape is in trouble if we don't maintain our workforce,
Mhm.
so,
Good point, Anne.
yeah.
I vote for you.
You
Up with Andy.
Thanks.
you have a campaign manager.
It's a real, it's a tragic thing that's going on right now. And the commuting, who's gonna commute from New Bedford for a job at, you know,
Ocean Edge,
unless your pay is substantially up there, you're not gonna commute. And if you've got kids, if you're a nurse and you've got children in childcare, you're not gonna drive an hour to work and an hour to back because childcare is incredibly expensive. You've got to be able to live reasonably local. You can't squeeze the whole workday and an hour there and an hour, 2 hours of travel time and still get your kids from school or off the bus or from childcare. It just doesn't work.
Mhm.
So we really, things got to move faster. That's all.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening.
I think we need you on outreach.
Yikes.
You can, you know, you can have people join your working groups. There's nothing.
Excellent. And
Good point.
What?
So we'll keep you appraised of the work, we have 2 working groups.
Yeah,
There might be something you'd like to zoom in on or come and attend.
sure.
open invitation.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I just keep me appraised of the schedule. As it is, I'm working 2 jobs right now, so trying to make ends meet. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? But yeah, keep me in the loop because I want to know.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
There's
you.
no other, through the chair, a call to adjourn?
We will call for a motion to adjourn. The chair calls for a motion to adjourn.
I
And do
second the motion.
Okay. Drew,
Affirmative.
excellent. Lee,
Approve.
okay, Marcia,
Approve. Yep.
Yahoo, and Myra.
Aye.
In the right.
Aye.
Okay.
Go Myra.
So we're adjourned. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Oh,
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody on the screen.
I'm so happy I finally got you to call her names. I've been pushing you.
keep training
And you
me.
did it.
Keep training me.